Hello everybody and welcome to this playthrough for Pro and Expert Division with various wins. Before we have a closer look at all the content here in this video, make sure that you do hit the thumbs up button, also subscribe to the channel and turn on the notifications. Doing those three things doesn't cost you a dime and it helps the channel immensely. For those of you that do want to invest more in your game and become a better player quicker, then you can scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link that is in the description down below. Patreon.com/GoldClashTommy. And for those that are looking for more free content as well, our website goldclashtommy.com is the place where you can find loads and loads on loads of free content to learn from. Follow the info box on the right hand side to get to the club distance adjustment, elevation adjustment, also a ball and club type I suggest you to play with. Have in mind that those are all suggestions and you don't have to follow it if you don't want to, but there's always a plan behind it. So let's go to hole number one. For hole number one, we're starting off by playing with our Apocalypse, and we're gonna play at the top of plus 10 with Apoc 5 plus, at top of plus 16, which is max P3 line with Apoc 4. Now, different ring references depending on what Apoc you have, obviously. 3 top spin and 3 right spin. Adjust is going to be max plus 10 P3. And then it's just too simple to adjust, center the ball and hit perfect. Goal here is to get a consistent drive to around 350 and 355 yards. You can see here that even if you would be hitting great right, you still have a lot of fairway to play on, the same with great left. And we are perfectly in the yardage of 354. Second shot, now we are going to play with our Thorn. 2 left spin, 1 back spin. But before we set the position, we're gonna do a bunker check. And the bunker check is with a bullseye by the edge of the bunker, with the ball guideline going over the hole. Now, 1 back spin, 2 left spin. And we're gonna use plus 3 and plus 4 as a base. And that's going to be 15% slider with a 20% elevation, P3 settings. Then we're adding or subtracting 0.1 for every 2 yards. And when it comes to the ball guide, should be just through the hole. We're not really looking at the ring references, just to have the ball guideline just through the hole. Perfect ball it is, and bounces on the fairway up towards the pin, dropping dead center for a lovely eagle to start with on hole 1. For hole number 2, Santa Ventura, here we're going to be playing a Goliath rough bump. There's really just 2 ways of playing this hole, in my opinion. It's either rough bump or you are bouncing like we do in the golden shot, that we bounce on the fringe. But if we do bounce on the fringe, we are going to have a lot of backspin. So then it's either a high-level sniper or it's going to be the Guardian. So Goliath boxing in the red ring by the bunker and the rough line, ball guideline through the hole. Adjustment in the video is max plus 5, but I would like us to play max plus 10 due to the slight miss to the right of the pin. Adjustment is done, center the ball and hit perfect. Even though there isn't that much rough to play on, a great left or great right is still gonna be fine, as there is, where you look to where we land, you have a lot of room to the right and also to the left. So max plus 10 is what I would like you to adjust instead of the max plus 5 as I'm doing in the video. Hole 2 offers a good chance for a drop. When we do have a headwind here on hole number 5, we're going to have to lay up, which is kind of boring on this hole, but there is a way of getting yourself into a very nice position and playing into a big funnel on the green. If we do have a tailwind, we are going to send it, but unfortunately that wind did not appear itself in practice. Start with the quarterback at max white ring by rough line, 3 topspin, 3 left spin, swapping to a puck and sniper bag. Max plus 10 is the adjustment. We're centering the ball to hit perfect, and now we're looking to be just safely down the fairway. So you can see the ball hits the fairway and then it rolls down nicely, and you can see here that we are safe for any types of grates that may appear. So we do have the second shot, and we are going to play this one with a sniper, doing our very best to catch the funnel. So first and foremost, if we do have any type of note to follow, do a fringe check or a pin check or anything else like that. Then adding spins, I'm adding a little bit of left spin together with some backspin. Look now, when I'm moving my target, the ball guideline is not really moving from the hole, which means that we're playing into a funnel. But what we do forget to counteract is the headwind, because the headwind is going to make the ball guideline shorter and going to miss left. So in this instance, the thing to compensate here is to leave the ball guideline a little bit more through the hole, so we do come in with more speed, or leave it right of the hole, or adjust more. There are a couple of things we can do there, but in a worst case scenario, we end up with an eagle burning the edge like this, but the albatross is very makeable. For hole number 2, we are going to play from absolute min line with a P2 ball. A ball guideline to go over the hole or through the hole, whatever way you want to pronounce it. And we're going to add spins so we have the ball guideline just short of the hole. Adjust here in the video. I do adjust 1 to 1, which is a little bit too little. I would like us to play minimum distance plus 25% elevation instead. Have in mind that if you do have a tailwind, you're going to have to play with a long iron instead of a wood club. But if it is a crosswind or a headwind, we can play with our wood club, which is the preferred way of doing. Now, burning the edge on the right hand side needed. Once again, a little bit more adjustment, but worst case scenario, a safe birdie. Take your game to the next level with our ultimate tournament text guide for the Santa Ventura 9-hole cup expert and master division. Play free to play or with paid balls in any division. We do cater for expert, apocalypse level 4+ as a driver, and then when it comes to master, it's apocalypse level 5+ or the extra mile level 9 as lowest. And like I said, paid ball and free to play depends on what you want to use. So make sure to sign up and become a better player with our guides. We do offer other stuff than tournament guides as well, such as Checkpoint Challenge and Tour Play also. So scan the QR code here on the screen or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that you can find in the description down below. For hole number 5, we are going to play NMT with our Apocalypse. Doesn't matter what level of Apocalypse you are having here, it's gonna still be the same position from NMT. 3 left spin and 4.5 top spin. Adjustment is now going to be max no elevation with P3 numbers. When the adjustment has been made, we're going to use 1 ball of left curl with just before circle drop overpower. And we're using those just before circle drop overpower to try to give everyone, regardless if you're using grid lines or no grid lines, a possibility to be consistent while using curl. Ball comes down nicely on the fairway, and we're looking to be somewhere between 340 and 350 yards. Second shot is very difficult. Here we do go with a 3 right spin, and obviously the wind coming left to right is very helpful. You could just picture yourself if the wind was coming right to left, how much side spin we would need to use, or just use curl to compensate. So this is going to be a very difficult one to drop, and the idea here is to leave the ball guideline short and also leave it slightly left of pin, like 1 green square left up. You can see that it points towards the side there of the dark green square row, and approximately 4 green squares short. So, and the spins will vary somewhere between 1 and 2 bars of top spin. So it's a difficult one here to drop, but doing our best, hitting perfect, then we will be around the hole, and that's going to, I mean, give us at least a look when it comes to the albatross here on this tough one. But you won't see many drops here on other opponents' card. No elevation, 100% slider, and that's going to be from +7 and +8 with Sniper 10, whereof Sniper 9 is going to be from +9 and +10. Close, but no cigar this time on hole number 5. Hole number 7. Here we pray and hope for some sort of a tailwind, because then we can ping for the hole in one. But when we do not have a tailwind, we can make a decision. Either we are trying to just bounce through the trees and hope for some luck by bouncing into the rough to roll out for a wedge, or we are gambling with bouncing on the fairway on the left, which I will end up doing here in the video, that we will then end up into the sand, rough, or on green. Or obviously the fringe is in play there too. Using one backspin, two right spin here, adjusting max +10. Then I'm using max overpower obviously and playing with a power 5 ball. If you end up into the sand that is before the green, then there is a massive funnel from there. And there are many occasions where we have actually been playing into that sand deliberately to catch that funnel, because that's a much easier way to get an eagle than having to lay up on the right. So no matter what though, this hole number 7, is going to be an absolute must to drop, regardless what wind direction you have, which is pressure in itself. So eagle it is and nothing else. Hole number 8, another tough par 3, where we are bouncing on the fairway pad before the bunker and the rough over towards the pin. What we need to have in mind here is, like, if hitting bad great lefts or just misadjusting, there is a risk that you fall down the hill on the green, and then it's going to be an overpowered putt, which would obviously be very crap if that happens. But that's a risk that will always be here on this par 3. That's kind of how the hole is designed by the game makers. Adjust, it's gonna be a variable. It's gonna be more for higher wind and less for lower wind, and we recommend to use a wind 5 ball here, and that's why I wanted to use this one into the playthrough as well. We are adding the spins, which is 5 backspin, 1 left spin. Have ball guideline just left of the cup. Yellow ring approximately 10% from the rough. Getting a drop here. Nice little one here on hole number 8. In any time when we do not have a tailwind or a straight crosswind, this is going to be a very finicky drive, but I found a very nice way of getting us over to the right side fairway without not taking that much risk. So what I'm doing here is putting my quarterback at max P3, which is +15, yellow ring by the rough line, adding then slightly less than 3 bars, which is going to be so like 2 to 2.5 bar topspin depending on wind strength. Switching then to Apocalypse and my Grizzly bag. Adjustment, max +10 P3. Then we're gonna go with full curl to the right with just before circle drop overpower. And the reason I'm using the just before circle drop overpower is so everyone, regardless if you do have any proper grid lines or not, will be able to follow that curl reference. Now rolls nicely down the fairway, and now we do have a long iron to the pin. When it comes to the long iron, it's going to be played fairly differently depending on what type of wind angle you have. If you do have a headwind, we're going to have to adjust way more. This to compensate for the compressed ball guideline. If we do have a crosswind or a tailwind, we're going to have to adjust less, because then we're not going to have the compressed ball guideline to have to compensate for. So what I'm doing here now, using 2 bars of backspin, I'm aiming with the second bounce to be just after the fringe on the green with the ball guideline through the hole. I'm using true club distance and 35% elevation in this example. And once again, the adjustment here on the second shot will change. depending on what wind angle and the strength that you are having. So this is one of those shots where I can't really say, okay, this is the way you're gonna play all the time. Unfortunately, I wish that would be the case, but unfortunately. Bounces on the fairway, up onto the frames, comes in a little bit hot, but I'll take it. Dead center drop for an eagle, so maybe a little bit more backspin would be better here on hole number 7. But in the end, though, it's the drop that matters. Hole number 9, this is one of my least favorite par 5s, and this is going to be the par 5 that's going to hold down the scores. We're not going to drop this one that much because the green is weird. So what I'm doing here to just start is that I'm looking to have my target just right of the trees with the bullseye just before the rough line, and the ball guideline is into the bunker. Adjust max plus 10 P3 as I'm not in max line, so I'm playing it P3 number instead of P5 numbers, making sure to pack either the Cataclysm or the Guardian, because on the approach having some backspin is definitely going to be very helpful. Changing to remove the 2 right spin here, going max curl to get around the corner, bounces on the fairway, and we put ourselves up nicely. If we do have a tailwind, we can try to go over on the left hand side. Unfortunately, when we play in Pro and Expert, the wind is it's not that strong most of the times, and then it's too much of a gamble of doing that. But laying up here that we're doing just now is definitely, I can't sit here and say that that's going to be a money play, because it's not. It's never gonna be. So what we're doing here now is that we are bouncing on the fairway, trying to somewhat find a line that is that we bounce and have the second bounce left of the pin, takes the slope down, and we're dropping it for Albatross. But the Albatross here, once again, regardless what division you're playing, is going to be very difficult. So make sure to give yourself at least some margin where not getting the Albatross won't mean that you will lose out on the Eagle. So I'm playing this one very safe, outside chance for an Albatross. My Eagle is secured, and I can then move on to the next hole. You can see it's such a high bounce that it's so hard to control, and we're down for a simple putt, get Eagle, and can't really complain about that. Thank you so much, everybody, for watching this playthrough for Pro and Expert division here with various wins. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. Also make sure to hit the thumbs up button before you leave. Scan the QR code here on the screen, or use the link patreon.com/golfclashtommy that is in the description down below. That will take you to our premium guides where you can subscribe and start improving your game today. Thank you once again for watching. I wish you the best of luck in your Golf Clash game.